is just fantastic. Captain's Log, Subdate 211207.3. On the 7th day of Moistmas, my whole crew gave to me a recipe book for cyanide puddings and a set of ugly mugs to serve those tasty delights in. Oh, and a dime bar. Om nom 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 nom. I know I said Digital Princess would be next, and she technically is. I'm actually recording this one after that, but I forgot to edit it in time. Sorry about that. So in the next installment of Where Are They Now, we are going to talk about Gabbie Hanna. I have on this channel twice covered Gabbie Hanna. The very first time was all the way back in July of 2016. Titled The Gabbie Show, because that was the name of her channel at the time, does not understand Black Lives Matter or sourcing. I'm not going to play the video, by the way. I'm going to have it on the screen though, so you can sort of see the aesthetic I was working with. Quite a good one, I liked it. The reason I made the video was because during that time, the height of the anti-SJW, skeptics, response videos, that stuff, Gabbie Hanna went somewhat unnoticed when she made a video delving into the statistics from the police and used it to frame an argument that this disproportionately affected people who were black, therefore it legitimized the need for Black Lives Matter. I pointed out that you are basing it on proportionate representation, which I firmly believed was an inaccurate way of representing the statistics, because you've had to create an argument out of numbers that do not reflect it. There were arguments in the comments to that particular video that I was perhaps strawmanning Gabbie Hanna, being ignorant of the plight in America and at the same time not understanding the true gravity of the situation. My view on it was a bit simpler back then. It was simply, how about you stop alienating and vilifying people based on skin color to prop up other people who have been discriminated? It does not look like equality if you have to tear down others, but I could be wrong. As far as Gabbie Hanna went, I kinda put her on the side because she was doing her own thing, getting into music, and I thought personally she was off doing something more productive with her life. Skip ahead to April 28th, 2021, and I made a video called Gabbie Hanna Can't Handle Criticism. Around this time, I made a content constable on Comedy Shorts Gamer, aka Deji. It tanked, but in that video I said Gabbie Hanna would be next. I also said that with the Gabbie Hanna Can't Handle Criticism video, if I got a certain number of likes, I'd do a content constable on her. I set up all these things for it. So before I explain why it never happened, I'm going to play a clip from that video. And the reason for the clip from the video is because I want you to understand why I made the video back then. So this video should be rather interesting. Hi everyone, hope you're well. I had, by the way, forgotten that Gabbie Hanna still existed, the other being her singing a song called Monster, which has been perfectly parodied here by Harry.
Gabbie Hanna's singing.
No.
Okay. That was a quick one.
Stop.
What if I'm the monster?
And because of that, the channel I thought went on the back burner while she pursued chart-topping success. Now I do want to insert a disclaimer. Bad behavior should always be called out. Using mental health as a shield, and by extension self-diagnosing oneself so as to make themselves have an even better shield, which is equivalent to diagnosing with WebMD, should always be called out. Now yes, Gabbie Hanna is also well within her right to defend herself, but it is how she chooses to do that I take great issue with. In 2017, Gabbie Hanna released a book called Adultolescence. It is a poetry book. It received mixed reviews. One of the pieces more recently getting memed said, relative. Time is relative. Beauty is relative. Family is relatives. In April of this year, Gabbie Hanna tweeted out about the writing process and the issue she had for her 2020 book, Dandelion. And with this, she showed how utterly inept she was at handling the criticism for her literature. She then decided to use Rachel Oates, a YouTube pop culture analyst who does review things like poetry. Gabbie didn't take this very well when she shared screenshots of these video reviews. But she also now has a track record for not being able to handle criticism, whether that be a simple off-the-cuff remark from Trisha Paytas, which Trisha bit and flung back and that triggered Gabbie to put out a video, or whether it be somebody saying they didn't want to have sex with her because she simply wasn't their type. And this triggered Gabbie because he's done videos on his channel critiquing people's appearance. To be honest, I think that's all the context you need for the sake of this video especially. So why is it I didn't do a content constable on Gabbie Hanna? You could argue it's because of the Deji video not doing very well, and my belief being that perhaps I was no longer good enough to do those types of videos. But the answer is a lot simpler. The answer came because of what happened after these incidents. A whole plethora of channels, commentary channels, tea channels, whatever channels, reactionaries for the most part, made many videos on her. Too many videos on her. Far too many videos on her. Nitpicking at the tiniest details, which, by the way, I sat and watched hours of this content critiquing Gabbie Hanna. Some of these channels, fellow Brits, making videos up to an hour long, where they basically responded to the tiniest details that were utterly inconsequential. Yet they would use these tiny details to stretch these videos out to obscene lengths, no doubt monetized, getting phenomenal likes, because it's all incredibly petty. Levels of petty that I would associate with tea, 100%. Many people pounced on the tea community because of what happened to Gabbie Hanna, because a lot of the argument centered around whether or not she had the right to defend herself. And when it came to criticisms, she does have a right to defend herself. There is still a chance she could be right or wrong, but because of that dogpiling, I felt it was wrong to go and make a video dedicated to her on the content she had made in the past, because let's face it, what was the point? I'd either be accused of bandwagoning, or I would simply be accused of failing to properly make a video on her covering every tiny nuanced detail that the majority of people actually don't care about. I would include types of sounds in her intros, because who likes a scratchy pen sound? All the way up to, how could she have her hair flick like that? It falls on the wrong side and makes her face look fat. If you've worked out the two creators that said those two comments, 10 points to your respective Hogwarts house. So I guess instead of railing on the tea community for their bad decisions during that time, we should talk about where Gabbie Hanna is now, as that is the entire point of this video. As a direct consequence for what happened with the tea community commentary channels that dogpiled the feck out of her, she deleted or unlisted, privated, the vast majority of her content, leaving up for quite some time only music content. This then meant that those who would make videos on her would have less content to go on, which I guess means they could then obsess over someone else for a bit and milk them, or whack them with a stick like a good piñata. Gabbie is still active on Twitter, where she says rather profound things like this. I'm not sure how to respond to it, so I'm just going to leave it here for a moment. Understandably, because she is very much hated by a lot of people, it doesn't matter what she does, she will get crap for it. She has started uploading shorts to her channel. By the way, when Gabbie did unlist or private the vast majority of her content, she had indicated she was quitting the internet. Obviously, like anyone else that says that, she didn't do that. No one does that. So more recently, Gabbie Hanna has thrown herself into her creativity, and in doing so has actually released some new music. The shorts I earlier mentioned actually are her TikToks, because she has been very active over there. Lots of dancing, miming, the usual really, it's TikTok. I expect nothing less from anyone really. The one remaining detail that piqued my interest is that because while she's not doing as well view-wise with the shorts she's uploading, there are no channels talking about her, which means she can carry on being creative, controversy-free, because people are finally leaving her alone. I know I'm doing this, but I'm not using it as an opportunity to bully or shade her. The same cannot be said for any one of the tea community commentary channels that maybe don't consider themselves tea, drama, news commentary channels, but for now, even they have no content to work on because they had successfully managed to bully someone off the internet. Congratulations. This does explain why your obsessions currently include Shane Dawson.